Hello friends, my name is Michelle Fondin and I'm the author of Twin Flame Romance, The Journey to Unconditional Love, available now in paperback, Kindle, and Audible books. And if you are currently reading Twin Flame Romance and finish it, either in any one, Audible, Kindle, or paperback, and you leave a review on Amazon, wait till that review is posted, take a screenshot, and send it to me at michellefondinauthor@gmail.com and I will send you a free promo code for an Audible copy of Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy. And that's an unabridged copy of Chakra Healing, which works really well when we talk about healing with twin flames and the twin flame journey. Now, if you want to book a reading with me, I do 30, 60, and 90-minute twin flame readings. I do general angel readings as well. Again, you can find me at the links below, or you can email me at michellefondinauthor@gmail.com. Just put twin flame reading or romance reading or angel reading in the subject line so I know to respond to you sooner rather than later, since I do receive a lot of emails. Now, lastly, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for subscribing below, hitting the thumbs up button, and telling other friends about this channel. We do a live Q&A, Twin Flames, on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific. So today, crazy topic. This is not what I was going to talk about today, but it came to me, as it often does, early in the morning. And I kind of check in with my angels and guides just to confirm that that's exactly what they would like me to talk about. And therefore, here's our topic: how to not judge your twin flame, divine masculine. Now, I put divine masculine there because with separation, the divine feminines have a tendency to judge the divine masculine, especially if they're silent, if they're ghosting, or if there has been some sort of interruption in the connection or relationship. So a lot of the judging happens toward the divine masculine. So today we are going to actually unpack judgment. We're going to unpack what is judgment, what isn't judgment, how do you know if you're judging, and what does judging do? So we're going to unpack all of that. And it's super duper important because part of the twin flame journey is about ego death, which I really don't even like to call it ego death. I just like to say like ego transcendence. You're transcending the ego. So the ego is kind of like here, and you are now up here, meaning you are more aligned with your higher or spiritual self. Therefore, you call the shots. The you that is the higher spiritual self is calling the shots rather than the ego calling all the shots, right? So I don't really like to call it ego death. I know that's what it is actually referred to, but your ego is there, guys. You're not getting rid of your ego anytime soon. As long as you're living on this planet, you are not getting rid of the ego. Sorry, those are just the cold, hard facts. People would like you to believe that you get rid of the ego, but you honestly don't, and you wouldn't want to. And I do write about that in a lot of my books. So if you look at Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy, you look at The Wheel of Healing with Ayurveda, and you look at Twin Flame Romance, all three of those books really address this concept of ego and why you don't want to get rid of your ego, but you do want to transcend the ego, which is totally different. Now, why did this non-judgment thing come about? It really came about because of this this impending stir of emotions and the turmoil from the collective divine feminine, especially. I'm not saying it's not there in the divine masculine. I'm not saying it's not there. I'm just saying it's more prevalent in the divine feminine aspect of this collectivity. There is this sense of still judging the divine masculine. That's not for all of you. If you're not in this camp, then there's really no reason for you to watch this video, right? Unless if you're judging yourself, which is not a good thing to do either, right? So we're not judging ourselves. We're not judging other people. We're trying to stay in non-judgment state. And first, to understand, am I judging? We need to understand what judgment is. Okay, this word, just like narcissism, that word, but this word judgment has been thrown around all willy-nilly, all about, just like it's bad to judge, and if you say anything, you're judging, and judging is bad. And it's not that judging in and of itself is bad. It's not that. It's that it tends to separate us not only from our true self, our identity with our higher self, but it also separates us from other people. So that is like the fruits of the judgment. It separates us from our true selves and it separates us from other people. So that's why judgment isn't always the best course of action. Now, sometimes the ego wants to judge. Okay, it happens, right? We're human. It's going to happen because you're not getting rid of the ego anytime soon. It's going to happen. Even if you slip back into old habits, it's going to happen. Now, what I really want you guys to understand, and this is super duper duper important, is that judgment is not the same thing as an assessment or discernment. So I really want you guys to unpack this. Let's unpack this together, okay? Because then you're going to truly know if what you are saying, thinking, feeling, being is judgment, or if it's simply assessment or discernment, okay? To be healthy in life, to not be in a codependent relationship, to not be a doormat and let people walk all over you, it is necessary to have the power to assess and the power of discernment, okay? Which are vastly different than judgment. All right. Now I'm going to give you a magic word that can really help you to understand the difference between a judgment and assessment or discernment. Okay. Or actually, let me give you two words. The first word is should. Okay. The first word is should. Now that could be in the positive or the negative. So it could be should or shouldn't. Okay. One of my favorite teachers in the entire world, Dr. David Simon, said, why in relationships are we always shoulding over each other? Now, we also do this to ourselves. We also should on ourselves. We should all over ourselves. I shouldn't be eating this chocolate cake. I shouldn't be going to bed past 2 a.m. I shouldn't be abandoning my workout program, right? We should all over ourselves. But we also should over other people, right? You should be more conscientious. You should feel bad for me or be cognizant of my feelings. Or you should text me back, or you should call me, or you shouldn't go out with that woman who's your karmic or that man who's your karmic, whatever the case may be. So when we can say the word should, even if it's a judgment, but the implied intention has the word should in it, that's a judgment, okay? The other word is. You are declaring something about yourself or about somebody else with the word is. That is a judgment, okay? And that's any form of is, right? It could be are, right? You are a good boy. You are a bad boy. You are my beloved. You are a jerk. Okay, so when we use the word to be or is or are with an assessment of something that we deem as a label, that's judgment, okay? And we also do that to ourselves, by the way, right? I am bad, I am loud, I am fat, I am ugly, I am, okay? We use those two words that help us to indicate more or less a judgment, okay? And we're going to talk, not in this video, but we're going to talk in another video about how when you judge, you are really objectifying the person or persons involved. Now, here's the thing about judgment. The thing about judgment is when you judge, and like I said, it separates you from you, and it separates you from other people, right? From anybody, really. But especially when you judge your twin, obviously it separates you from your twin. because you are taking a stance of superiority, or you are taking a stance of the judge, right? So it's like you're God and you're orchestrating and seeing how things should be or must be in order to fit into some divine order that's not really divine, but it's like your order. It's like, you guys don't fit into my order, therefore this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good, right? I saw some comments on the YouTube channel saying my twin is a child. My twin is immature. My twin is a bad person or a jerk or a narcissist, or do you know what I'm saying? So all of those things are judgments, all of them, all the above. The problem with that, again, separates you from yourself from the other person, and puts you at a level of superiority that you're the divine and you know everything and everything's according to what you know, and that others need to operate and be according to what you think is right. And then it does a third thing, which is it disregards that person as having their own free will, first of all. And second of all, it disregards them as having their own unique life path that may or may not have anything to do with what you think, feel, or act as is in your best interest or their best interest. Because truly, we cannot know what is in another person's best interest at 100%. There's no way to know. We cannot know. We just don't know. We don't have enough information to know. That is the problem. And it keeps us also, as I mentioned in the beginning, it keeps us in ego consciousness. It keeps us in that ego state all the time. Because why does the ego need to judge? Why? The ego needs to judge to justify the parameters that it has set for itself. If you are judging yourself as being too fat, too skinny, too good, too bad, you're just putting yourself into this box that your ego has decided is the way that things should be. Again, we're back to that word should, right? Now let's take ourselves out of this box of judgment for a minute to understand how to act healthfully. It is okay to assess a situation. When you're trying to determine how to move forward, or how to act, or how to react, it's healthy to have good assessment abilities. Let me give you an example. If you are with a friend at a bar and you have had one drink, and your friend has had 5 drinks in the span of time that you have had one drink, and your friend is the one who took you to that bar, therefore your friend has the car and the car keys. A judgment is, oh man, girlfriend, you are an alcoholic. Get out of my face. Assessment is, you have had 5 drinks. Therefore, it may not be a good idea for me to get into the vehicle with you. That's smart assessment, because you are seeing things exactly for what they are at that particular moment, and you are making an educated choice for yourself based on the facts that are in front of you, which is good discernment. So that's why assessing a situation and having good discernment in relation to the assessment are really healthy and important in life. You need to have that, but it's not a judgment. So do you understand the difference? It's like with your twin, if you say, well, gosh darn it, my twin should be texting me. That's a judgment just based on what you want. It's your opinion on what you want, right? It's saying I completely disregard what they have on their plan, purpose, and agenda and life path at this moment right now. And it's saying, like, I believe that I have the right to say how they should be living their right life path. if that makes sense. An assessment of the facts is I am hurting and sad or stressed because I care about and love my twin, and hearing from him or having him text me would help me understand how he is feeling or she is feeling. So do you see assessment and discernment? Assessment and discernment. Another way to help get away from judgment is called let's pretend. Let's pretend. Now, this is a good way to connect with your higher spiritual self, to get away from the ego, and to foster more compassion, love, empathy, and understanding of the other person, even if you're in an impossible situation that feels like there's no way of unraveling this. Okay? Now, as I say in all of my videos, and I will continue to say this, abuse, physical, emotional abuse, psychological abuse is never, ever, 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 ever okay. You must never tolerate that behavior in anybody, whether it's your mother, father, sister, brother, boyfriend, girlfriend, twin, or other. Assessment or not, judgment or not, that is just a situation you need to get out of, okay? Period. Other than that, let's pretend is a way that you can foster a sense of empathy, because you can't have empathy and judgment at the exact same time. It is impossible. You cannot have a judgment and have empathy at the exact same time. True empathy. I'm not talking about being condescending or placing a judgment with a hierarchy of power, if you will, over that person. But I'm talking about true empathy, true compassion. So a let's pretend is the following. Let's take the example of my twin should be texting me. What's wrong with that, right? And so a let's pretend is, let's suppose that maybe my twin is involved in a really serious family issue right now. Maybe one of their relatives is going through cancer or is terminally ill, or maybe they themselves are dealing with some sort of health issue or an issue at work, or maybe they are struggling with money problems, or maybe they have an issue with their kid that they've been trying so hard to resolve for so many months, and on and on and on and on and on and on and on. You're not going to stick to any one story, but the let's pretend just takes you out of your ego and puts you into your spiritual self, okay? Because we truly don't know the extent of every single solitary person's story on the face of the planet, including our own relatives, including our own children, including ourselves even, to make that judgment. We just don't. We don't know the full story. We don't even know the full story of what God has in store for them or what God has planned for them. We just don't. And we don't even know the full extent of what God has in store for us and what plans God has in store for us. So I hope this has helped you to unbundle this concept of judgment, because when you are making an assessment, I want you to understand and know that it's okay to make assessments. Assessments are healthy. Assessments are healthy in order to have proper discernment. Proper discernment is what many of us do not understand how to use it. Especially, I hate to categorize, but especially in women, because here's why. Women are naturally nurturers and caretakers. It's just natural. It's in the history of things. It's just the way we've been. Sorry, guys. But it's just the way we've been. So we're really hardwired to caretake and nurture. That's it. Bottom line. It's in our hardwiring. Therefore, because it is in our hardwiring, a lot of women have a really hard time learning and practicing proper discernment. Healthy to assess and discern, unhealthy to judge. Okay? So just know that there is no apologies in having proper discernment whatsoever, even if you're telling somebody no. Even if you're telling somebody no thank you, okay? Even if you are saying that to your twin, and my sister and I were actually having a conversation about this, really interesting, but really quick before we end. What I was saying is that proper discernment is not, I am going to take my twin back at all costs, okay? You can love your twin from afar. And I read about this in my book. So if you've picked up Twin Flame Romance, you've read this, if you've read it. And if you have not read it, pick it up. I really go into length at what this is and like really how to understand this, like how to understand this concept. That because, especially for the divine feminines that are female in gender, the hardwiring, right? Hardwiring, empathy, caretaking, all of this, right? Because of our hardwiring as women, especially, I'm not saying it's not for men. There are very good caretaking men. I gave birth to one, okay? My middle child is very caretaking. But overall, as an overarching theme, it's women. And that doesn't mean that you take back your twin at all costs, okay? It doesn't mean that you cannot love them from afar until they have figured out their piece. When you do your assessment and say, yeah, there's still quite a few things that because of my good discernment, I can't accept into my space yet. That doesn't mean I won't. But when that stuff is gone, when it's fixed, then I can. I can't let you into my space before that moment. And we're talking about the more serious issues of being married to somebody else, being strapped to an addiction, being strapped to poverty, for example, just being in an enormous amount of debt and just being really irresponsible with the credit cards, for example. Like there are people that addictions can come in all shapes and sizes, right? Irresponsibility can come in all shapes and sizes. There are, just because they're your twin and you're developing and growing, like I said, there's always one twin that's slightly behind until you guys both are energetically matched. So if your twin tries to come back to you, and they're not energetically matched where you are because of certain things that they're still having to learn, and you say, no, thank you, not right now. Maybe we need to take a look at this in a few months when some of these things have been sorted out. Again, that's not judgment. That is good assessment and good discernment in order for you to live a healthy, happy, and joyous life. And that's what you want. That is what you want. And in essence, it is also for your twin to live a healthy, happy, and joyous life too, because if they are tethered to unhealthy behaviors that would drag you down, should they be in the inner circle with you, then it's not going to serve you and it's not going to serve them either. You practicing your discernment muscle rather than judging them is just, it's so much more healthier on all levels. So I hope this brought clarity for you guys. You guys are doing great. I'm so happy for a lot of you on this journey, and I just wanted to thank you guys. So many of you are so incredibly supportive, and just the love, the outpouring of the love and the support and the happiness and joy and optimism and prayers. It's amazing. Keep it going, you guys. Just stay in that positivity, that positive mindset, be filled with joy, continue to meditate, do your spiritual practices as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Hit the bell for notifications. Thank you for sharing this video with other twin flames. And thank you for your support of this channel. I really need your support. The continued support is so valuable. You have no idea. So you can buy a book or 2 or 3, pledge your support on Patreon, www.patreon.com/MichelleFondin, and shop at my Amazon store. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.